Summers are here and so are the mosquitoes. While India is unable to eliminate dengue, climate change is now making the weather more conducive to mosquitoes. That's helping vectors spread disease. According to a 2022 report, changing climate patterns coupled with other factors like urbanization and increased movement of people and goods have boosted the spread of disease-causing mosquitoes. The climatic conditions needed for mosquitoes to thrive increased by 12% from 2012 to 2021. For species of mosquitoes that cause diseases like dengue and chikungunya in India, the length of the transmission season for malaria increased a little over 31% for the American highlands and nearly 14% in the African highlands from 1951 to 1960 and from 2012 to 2021 as per this particular report. However, this is not the first time that climate change and increased movement have emerged as the reason for an increased spread of disease affecting all forms of life. Both malaria and dengue are vector-borne diseases spread by organisms like mosquitoes that transport parasites and pathogens from one infected person or animal to another. But how does climate change affect diseases? Mosquitoes are cold-blooded creatures that function best in balmy temperatures. And since the Industrial Revolution, humans have warmed Earth more than 1 degree Celsius on an average, and with climate change poised to upend habitats and push plants and animals to new locales, pathogens are on the move as well. As per entomologists point out that massive testing for vector-borne diseases was done in the case of COVID. Maybe this may be the way forward for diagnosis and containment in this particular case as well. Now, for more on this, we have with us Dr. Ashwini Kumar, Director of ICMR Vector Control Research Center, joining us live from Puducherry. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you.
So, my first question to you, how is climate change leading to a rise in vector-borne diseases, and what is the role of urbanization in this?
Well, climate change is real, and the vectors are climate sensitive in the sense that, as you said, their body temperature depends on the atmospheric temperature. They are cold-blooded, and as the Earth is warming up, there are greater opportunities for these vectors to multiply because their body temperature is rising, their lifespan is shortening. As a result, in a shorter span, they can produce large populations. So global warming is definitely impacting the growth of vectors and the surge of some of the vector-borne diseases.
Right, sir. Now, the World Economic Forum says 4 billion people are at risk from dengue fever today, and that could double by the end of the century. What can we do to stem the rise in cases, and what approach does India need to adopt here?
Well, India, as you know, is the fastest growing economy in the world. And, and people are increasingly moving from urban areas to, from rural areas to urban areas. And that is fueling the infrastructure, surge in the country. And as a result of that, we are creating a lot of opportunities for vectors to breed. Vectors, particularly mosquitoes, breed in water containers, and as more and more buildings are added up, the more infrastructure, man-made infrastructure is created for these vectors to multiply, breed. And some mosquitoes like culicines or culex mosquitoes breed in polluted waters, and as more and more urbanization will take place, you need water disposal facilities, and if these are defective, the storage as well as the disposal facilities, there will be greater opportunities for vectors to breed, and consequently, the vector-borne diseases will also increase.
Right. Doctor, now studies also suggest that climate change is exacerbating global income inequality between wealthy nations and cooler regions, poor nations and hotter parts of the world. So how do developing nations like India manage growth expectations while also managing the climate crisis and the related health risks?
Well, as I mentioned, that we are the fastest growing economy in the world, and this is going to continue as per the forecast and the projections. And that would mean that India's infrastructure will grow leaps and bounds in the years to come. And that would mean that, we will add up a lot of, buildings in the urban areas. There will be growth all around, as we have seen in cities like Bengaluru, Mumbai, anywhere in the country. These cities are just expanding. And also our road infrastructure is also expanding. And similarly, industry is also expanding. All this would, and many airports we are adding, and all these, would lead to not only the growth, infrastructure growth, but also it would attract the migrants from the rural areas to urban areas. So our challenges of the, vector-borne diseases will rise as more and more structures are added up in the urban areas, or the slums are created around the cities.
Right.
And the water facilities, the storage facilities are not adequate, and you would see that, mosquitoes and other vectors will get more opportunities to breed in these areas. So India should actually, develop a model or adopt a model of responsible public health engineering, and so as to design buildings and infrastructure which is mosquito proof. And there are several examples of that.
All right, Dr. Ashwini Kumar, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast with your insights on this.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.